Mike Perlak here to entertain you with the help of John Bisaha, Bisaha. The mighty dogs of America, quack quack. A surge of force that never dies. Anywho, that was on another one of those homemade CDs I made. There's stuff I remembered, stuff I recorded in childhood off the radio and stuff I remembered. That's actually from the Mighty Ducks movie. I only saw the first one of that. I recall there's a couple of them. My sisters used to rave about those movies. I saw the first one when it was new with Emilio Estevez, the brother who took the mother's last name instead of the Sheens, Martin Sheen. Emilio Estevez decided to take the mother's last name. Anyways, good. Looks like it's going to rain. Good, we need it. My grass is brown as it is. But I wanted to get one out there. Another one out there. Actually, I came across that one. Rock the Pond, it's called. Rock the Pond! Quack, quack! I actually came across that one looking for another song that I'm having a heck of a time finding because there's no lyrics to it. It's all just hooting and howling and music. Hey, 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 down, 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 hey! I can't for the life of me find that one. I hate when it happens. I can't find a tune because it has no lyrics. It's all just music and hooting and howling. But I speculated that was on the Mighty Ducks soundtrack. And that's how I came across that. I still haven't found that tune, though. The tune I just was humming. But maybe someday. But I wanted to get one out there and talk about... Don't worry, folks. The government has got our backs. The president himself told us Putin is losing the war in Iraq. That's a direct quote from our president, ladies and gentlemen. Putin is, don't worry, because Putin is losing the war in Iraq. What the hell? Well, what do you expect from a guy who believes in taxation into prosperity and fruition? Whose fruition, you might ask? Whose prosperity and whose fruition? Why? Global elitists. Who else? The George Soroses and Klaus Schwabs of the world. They will finally have total dictation of the lives of every living thing on earth. And heaven help you if you are someone who values objectionable things like free thought. Klaus Schwab will use AI to convince you and me that Mr. Rogers is the new Messiah. Hey, boys and girls, can you say re-education camp? I bet you could. Klaus Schwab. Ooh, I better be careful. If Klaus Schwab is getting wind of this video, I might be giving him ideas. You know, the whole butterfly effect thing. But, yeah. You might be taking notes here. But he's the one that says, it's all about who will control the future. It's all about who will control the future. And if he has anything to say about it, it'll be him and George Soros. First time I shared a video of Klaus Schwab with my mom, she was like, geez, I thought all the Nazis were dead. What you got a load of Klaus Schwab? It's all about who will control the future. And now a public service announcement. There's a 1-800 number, 1-888 number you can call if you suspect human trafficking. 1-888-373-7888. So if you suspect human trafficking, that's a real number you can call. See? I even have public service announcements on my channel. How about that, folks? Oh, God. So about a week ago, I sat down and last Sunday night, I sat down and for the first time in my life, I watched that Roger Corman movie, Piranha. Sometimes you just gotta kick back and watch a dumb movie, mentally unwind. I found myself wondering as I was watching it if this thing originally aired on cable when cable was brand new in the 70s. But I asked some older people at work, and they said no, it was at the theater. It was came out a few years afterwards, but it tried to, didn't try. It succeeded on hooking on to the success of Jaws. It was an interesting movie. Dick Miller was in it. I don't know why, but he had actually a slightly bigger role. It's probably a slightly bigger role than even Gremlins. The guy who played Mr. Flutterman in the Gremlins movies. But I don't know why, but for some reason, anytime I see Dick Miller in a movie, the guy just puts a smile on my face. Even if it's a small role, like in Terminator when he plays the gun store owner. Guess we're closing early today. Dick Miller, I don't know why, but every time I see him in a movie, and even if it's a insignificant part, the guy just puts a smile on my face. I also watched, by the way, there was they released some sort of poison in the water to kill all the, spoiler alert, they released some sort of poison in the water to get rid of all the piranha, and I thought, how clever. This way here, if they don't make any money, if Roger Corman doesn't make any money off this one, we can say, okay, whatever, and go on to the next project. And if they do make a lot of money, they can say that the poison mutated them, and voila, Piranha 2, which I think did get made. I actually got wind of, I think it was one of the first movies that James Cameron directed. But I also watched Bucket of Blood because I learned that Dick Miller had a slightly larger role. That movie was so darn similar to the original 1962 Little Shop of Horror. You could just tell. Ooh, somebody dropped a canoe back there. The guy's backing up his truck. His canoe went flying out the back, I guess. Stuff you gotta watch out for when you live near the lake or drive near the lake. But anywho, now speaking of James Cameron, even he knew that there was something fishy what was going on with that damn sub that blew up, and all those guys died, and the left doesn't care because they were all rich, because rich people equals bad people, because that's how stupid the left is. That's how ignorant they are. Anyways, we're getting off track. So I was listening to all kinds of music this week, including Cher. I even have that Believe album she did on a cassette. And I found myself really liking this one track called Taxi Taxi, but it sounds, musically it sounds very similar to Bjork's Big Time Sensuality. Remember that song? It takes courage to enjoy it. Also, too, there's a remix of an 87 song she did. Eventually We All Sleep Alone. That song is originally from 87, but the Believe album has a remix of it. Yeah, sleeping alone actually is not a bad idea. You can actually sleep. Nah, there's not an earthly female alive that would ever satisfy me anyways. Anyways, moving on. So I was listening to Cher this week, Alice Cooper, The Cars, and Paula Abdul. Now, when I was like 12 or 13, I had all right, I'm going to call it a crush, but what does that mean, really, you know? You say crush, and that means that could mean 101 different things to 101 different people. But I'll use, for the sake of communication with this video, I'll use the word. I had a crush on Paula Abdul when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. Anyways, my mom, I remember, bought me a calendar of her. Now, when I tell this to people, like when I'm listening to her at work, whatever, I gotta specify it. Now, wait a minute. It wasn't that kind of calendar, all right? We're talking about Paula Abdul here. As a matter of fact, I actually have a comic book that reads like a documentary talking about Paula Abdul's rise to fame and popularity. She made it a point. She wanted to make it on the merits of her voice and her dancing. Yeah, of course, after she became successful, she, made videos that were provocative and, even sexy. But, I think a lot of modern females could take a lesson from Paula Abdul. Oh, yeah, back to Cher. There's one of the albums I was listening to has a song on there called Emotional Fire. It makes sense that a song called Emotional Fire would be sang by a woman. I know of another song called Emotional Truth, written and sung, and I believe written by Tom Cochrane of Red Riders, the Canadian band. And it makes sense that a man would sing a song called Emotional Truth, and a woman would sing a song called Emotional Fire. Just somehow, it just makes sense to me. Also, listening to these CDs that I made growing up, I came across a song, I think Go West was the name of the band. Anyways, song goes, I will be faithful to my lover's prayer, faithful, and I don't care if the world around us gives up on love. I will make you see, you can count on me. I will be faithful, faithful to my lover's prayer. And I thought, you'd never get a song like that on the radio or on, out in the world today, because the government wouldn't allow that. To suggest that there's power in prayer with no government kickbacks? No, you can't have that. What are you, crazy? You can't do that. All right, go ahead. Speed demon. But no, you can't do that. You can't have a song that suggests there's power in prayer and in total absence of government kickback. Go West. That was the same band that made that King of Wishful Thinking. I'm the king of wishful thinking. I think that song was more popular, but so when I'm at work at my first job and I tell a joke, and everybody laughs, and then we move on to something else. When I tell a joke at my second job, where I'm surrounded by these kids, they're laughing for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, and they're still laughing. I was talking about the fight, quote unquote, between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and I was telling the kids, the high schoolers I worked with at my second job, I'm rooting for Elon Musk because a coworker of mine, his son works for Elon Musk. So not only that, but I never did like Mark Zuckerberg. When he was a kid, he came off as a bit of a putz. And as he got a little bit older, he became a sleaze. And then he started using his platform for things I don't think he should have been using his platform for, which turned him into what he is today, a complete scumbag. Mark Zuckerberg, a complete scumbag. But All right. I'm going to have to end this one. Oh, wow. Over 15 minutes. Okay, well, maybe people will watch it, maybe they won't. I want to end this one with something I thought was interesting. Good-intended people share truth. Ill-intended people try to manipulate truth. Good-intended people get angry when lied to. Ill-intended people get angry when told the truth. Think about it. Mike Perlak, thanks for your time.